this video, we are going to talk about another form of variation, which is called inverse variation. So, inverse variation, it is a function in the form y is equal to kx, where k is the constant of variation and k should not be equal to 0. And the graph of an inverse variation is 1/2 of a hyperbola and is asymptotic to both x and y axis. So basically, when we say inverse variation, it means that if the value of y increases, the value of x decreases. Or if the value of y decreases, the value of x increases. So the function can be read as either of the two. So it can be read as y varies inversely as x, or y is inversely proportional to x. So before we solve problems regarding inverse variation, let us first learn how to translate variation statement into a function. Kasi kayo yung gagawa, kayo yung magta-translate ng variation statement to make it a function or a formula for you to be able to solve the problem regarding inverse variation. So first, let's have this variation statement. So y varies inversely as x. If you write that into a function, it should be in this form. Y is equal to k over x. So lagi si k yung numerator mo. Yung pangalawang variable mo is laging yung denominator mo. And then the second one, we have a is inversely proportional to the square of b. So we have a is equal to k, again, nasa taas siya, numerator siya, over, so sabi dito, square of b. So, if you write that into a function, it should be b squared. Okay? So, a is equal to k over b squared. So, ganun siya kapag sinulat mo into a function. And then the third one, we have t varies inversely as the cube of x. So dito din merong condition. So we have t is equal to k over s cube. Kasi according sa variation statement, it is a cube of s. So kapag sinulat natin yan into a function, that will be equal to s cube. So ganyan na yung function nun kapag sinulat mo. And then lastly, we have m is inversely proportional to the square root of n. So we have m is equal to k over square root of m. Kasi according sa variation statement, square root ang n dapat. Okay, ang nakasulat sa function. So, ganun lang. Tinuruan ko na din kayo nito nung last na video regarding direct variation naman. So, kapag direct variation, merong sariling format. Kapag inverse variation kasi, fraction na yung format. So, yun lang. Yun yung kaibahan nilang dalawa in terms of format. Okay? So, now let us solve problems regarding inverse variation. So, in solving problems regarding variation, lagi niyong tatandaan, ang unang hinahanap is yung constant of variation. Kung hindi man, constant of variation yung una mong hahanapin kasi given na siya. Pero kung hindi pa siya given, you need to look first for the constant of variation. Right after mong isolve yung constant of variation, tsaka ka pala pwedeng maghanap ng value nung na-mention na variable. Like this example. Let's say we have y varies inversely as x. So, this is your variation statement. Diyan ka magde-derive ng function. If y is equal to 24 when x is equal to 3, find y when x is equal to 12. So yun, first and foremost, we need to derive a function using the variation statement at the beginning. So y varies inversely as x. Ang function na gagamitin natin is y is equal to k over x. And that was derived to this statement, yung pinakauna. Okay? So, using this function, we can now solve for the value of our k. So, bakit kailangan nating solvein yung value ng k? Kasi wala naman na-mention na value ng k dito para ma-solve natin yung y. So, we need first to look for the value of k for us to solve the value of y. So, para mahanap natin yung value ng k, we will be using the first given for x and y, which is this one. So, 24 and 3. And then, using the function that we derive from the variation statement, substitute lang natin yung values ni x and y dun sa function. So, we have 24 is equal to k over 3. So, para mahanap natin yung value ni k, we need to cross-multiply. For us to be able to use cross-multiplication, kailangan natin lagyan ng denominator si 24, which will be equal to 1. So, tsaka pa lang natin pwede sila i-cross-multiply. So, k is equal to 24 times 3. That will be equal to 72. Ito na ngayon yung value ng k mo, 72. Ngayon, your second solution is for the value of y. Kasi yun yung hinahanap mo, value ng y. So, para makita mo yung value ni y, you need to use the value of k that you solve and then the second value of x in the problem. Okay? So, we have, using the function, again, we have y is equal to k natin is 72 over the second value of x natin is 12. So, 72 over 12, that is equal to 6. Therefore, yun na yung value ng y mo, 6. So, in this problem, you need to solve the value of k, which is 72, and then the value of y, which is 6. Okay? Now, let's solve another problem regarding inverse variation. So, let's say we have y is inversely proportional to the square of x. So, if y is equal to 20 when x is equal to negative 4, then find y when x is equal to negative 8. So, as you can see here sa problem natin, first and foremost, no, derive tayo ng function using the variation statement sa taas. No? So, y is inversely proportional to the square of x. So, y is equal to k over square of x. So, x squared. Okay? So, yun yung gagamitin nating function or formula all throughout sa pag-solve natin ng problem. Here, napansin nyo, wala din value yung k. So, hindi natin masosolve yung value ni y hanggat walang value si k. Therefore, una nating solving yung value ni k. And for us to solve the value of k, we need to use the first values of x and y, which is these two, 20 and negative 4. So, using the function, y natin is 20 is equal to k over, yung x natin is negative 4, and then i-squared natin kasi yun yung according sa function, naka-squared si x. So, we have 1 as the denominator of your 20 para ma-cross multiply natin siya. Okay? Now, k is equal to 20 times natin sa square ng negative 4. So, continuing the solution, we have k is equal to 20. Tapos, si negative 4 squared is equal to 16. Okay? K is equal to 20 times 16 is equal to 320. So, 320 is the value of your k. Now, meron na tayong value ng k. Therefore, we can now solve the value of y. So, using the same function, solve natin yung value ni y. So, I'm just going to erase this part no kasi hindi na siya kasya. Tapos, ito yung value ni k. Solution for y. So, para ma-solve natin yung value ni y, we need to use the value of k na sinolve natin kanina and then the second value of x which is negative 8. So, substitute natin sila sa function natin. So, we have y is equal to, yung value ng k natin is 320 over negative 8 squared. So, naka-squared siya kasi yung function natin naka-squared dapat si x. So now, para ma-solve natin yung value ni y, we need to simplify muna si negative 8 squared. Okay? So, write ko yung solution here. Y is equal to 320 over negative 8 squared. So, negative 8 squared is equal to 64. And then now, you need to divide 320 over 64 and that will be equal to 5. And that's it, no? You now have the value of your constant, which is 320, and the value of your y, which is 5. Now, paano naman kapag yung given natin is a word problem? Kasi variation can be actually used to solve real-life problems, like this example. So, let's have this word problem. So first, again, you need to derive a function using the variation statement. In this case, kasi walang sinabing inversely proportional or varies inversely, but then yung first na na-mention na given matters. So here, we can assume na the number of men or M varies inversely to the number of days required to accomplish the task. No? So, pwede nating sabihin na M varies inversely as the number of days required to do the task. So, kapag sinulat natin siya into a function, it is equal to M equals K over D. Okay? So, M varies inversely as D. Or the number of men varies inversely as the number of days required to finish the task. No? So now that we have our function, solve natin yung constant of variation. No? So using the first given for M, which is 5, and then sa D, which is 7, M natin is 5, D natin is 7. So the value of our K is equal to 7 times 5 or 5 times 7. That will be equal to 35. So yun yung constant of variation natin, 35. Now that we have the constant of our variation, we can now solve the number of days. So ang nawawala is yung D. The number of days required to finish the same task by the 8 men, no? So using the same function, gamitin natin to solve the number of days, yung value ng constant, and yung pangalawang value ni M, which is 8, no? So M is 8, so 8 equals, K is 35 over D, kasi si D yung nawawala. So 8 over 1, tapos you need to cross multiply. Okay? So it will become 8D is equal to 1 times 35 is equal to 35. Now, para ma-cancel out mo yung 8 beside D, you need to divide both by 8. So D is equal to 35 over 8 days, or it can be written pa into a mixed number, no? Kasi number of days yung hinahanap. So, kailangan natin ng may whole number. So, si 35 over 8, improper fraction siya. Gagawin nyo lang siyang mixed number. Pag ginawa nyo siyang mixed number, the answer is 4 and 3 over 8. And that is now our answer. So, kung yung 5 men, kailangan nila ng 7 days to finish the task, yung 8 men, kailangan lang nila ng 4 and 3 over 8 days to finish the same task. Now, I put an observation in your module. Kasi sabi ko kanina, di ba, when we say inverse variation, if the value of y decreases, the value of x increases. If the value of y increases, the value of x decreases. So, hindi sila nagtutugma, in short, no? So, let's take a look at this, for example. So, ito yung number ng men. Required to do the task. And then, ito yung number of days. So, kanina sa ating problem, from 5 men, ginawa siyang 8 men, di ba? So, in short, from 5 naging 8, yung number of men natin is tumaas. Nag-increase yung M natin. Yung number of days natin, from 7 days, naging 4 and 3 over 8 days. In short, bumaba yung number of days. So what I wanted to point out is, kapag pala tumaas yung bilang ng men na inassign natin to do the certain task, mas bababa yung number of days na kailangan nila to finish the task. So napansin nyo, inverse. So if M increases, D decreases. So if the number of men increases to do the certain task, the number of days for them to finish the task decreases. So that's it. That is all about inverse variation.